Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're doing a deep dive into customer case studies. Those compelling stories of how businesses have used a product or service to overcome a challenge, achieve a goal, all that good stuff.
And we always say it's all about the customer, right? Well, customer case studies, that's where the rubber really meets the road.
Totally. So we're going to dig into some insights from a company called Goated Guild. They specialize in creating video case studies for B2B startups.
Now, full disclosure, their website is essentially one giant ad for their services, but, and this is important, the data and strategies they share are valuable, even if you're not using Goated Guild specifically.
That's what we like to hear. So what's the core message? Why should we care about customer case studies, especially in the B2B space?
Well, they argue that B2B buyers, especially in the startup world, are becoming increasingly skeptical of traditional marketing. They don't just want to be told you're great. They want to see it in action.
They want proof, not just promises.
Exactly. And Go to Guild is saying video case studies are the most powerful form of proof you can offer.
Okay, I'm intrigued, but do they have data to back that up?
Oh, they do. They analyzed over 300 B2B websites, and the difference between average sites and top performers, what they call goated sites, is pretty remarkable.
All right, hit me with these stats.
Only 6% of average B2B sites used video case studies.
Okay, not entirely surprising. Video can feel like a big hurdle for a lot of companies, especially startups with limited resources.
Right. But here's the kicker. A whopping 25% of those top-performing goated sites, they were using video case studies.
Whoa, okay, so more than 4 times as many top performers are using video case studies compared to the average site. That's a pretty compelling argument right there. What kind of impact are we talking about here?
Well, it makes you wonder, right? It suggests that maybe those leading companies are onto something. Maybe they understand that showing, not just telling, leads to higher engagement, more leads, and ultimately more sales.
It's like you can read a restaurant review or you can watch a video of someone taking a bite and saying, this is incredible.
Exactly. And you know what else? Goated Guild, they've worked with some impressive names in the B2B space.
Like who? Give us the inside scoop.
Well, for one, there's Ben Dowling. He's the founder of IPI NFO, a company that handles a staggering 100 billion API requests every single month.
Okay, that's not your average startup. If a company operating at that scale sees the value in video case studies, there's got to be something there.
Right. And it's not just about name dropping. Think about it. When you see a testimonial from a company like IPI NFO, a company dealing with massive amounts of data, and they're saying that your product helped them solve a problem that instantly boosts your credibility.
It's like a stamp of approval from a trusted source. Even if people don't fully grasp the technical details, they recognize a big player when they see one.
Precisely. And there's another one, Sarma Velamiri, founder of Luminar. Their company was instrumental in the COVID-19 response, serving over 10 million people during that time. Talk about impact.
Okay, these are some seriously impressive client stories. Goated Guild definitely seems to know how to pick them. But how do they actually go about crafting these case studies? Do they have a magic formula or something?
Well, they do talk about having a very specific approach, a three-step playbook, they call it.
A playbook, huh? Sounds intriguing. Lay it on us. What's the game plan?
Okay, so they break it down like this. First, you create those killer video case studies featuring your top-tier clients, the ones who are seeing amazing results. Then, you put those case studies to work in some highly targeted ad campaigns. And to wrap it all up, you hit them again with those case studies in sales follow-ups, that final push to seal the deal.
So it's not just about making a cool video and calling it a day. They're saying these case studies should be woven into your entire sales and marketing approach, right?
Bingo. They see them as valuable assets throughout that entire customer journey, attracting leads, nurturing them, and then ultimately, closing those deals.
Makes sense to me. You've got this incredible story, this powerful proof that your product or service delivers, so why not use it at every turn, right?
Right. It's about squeezing every ounce of impact out of those customer success stories. But what I find really interesting is how much they stress understanding the business indie as customers, like really digging deep. They talk about discovery calls, strategy sessions, even customer interviews as crucial parts of their process.
So it's not just about throwing together some flashy video with fancy graphics and calling it a case study. They're really getting into the nitty-gritty, trying to get a feel for that customer's experience. What were their pain points? How did the product offer a solution? All of that, right?
Exactly. It's about authenticity,
Yeah.
because the most effective case studies are the ones that resonate with people. They're not just thinly veiled sales pitches. They're genuine stories that potential buyers can connect with on a human level.
It's all about making that human connection. Show your audience you understand their problems and have a solution that actually works.
Exactly. Tap into that desire we all share for growth and progress, right? Because at the end of the day, isn't that what every B2B buyer wants? A way to move their business forward, overcome obstacles, achieve your goals.
Absolutely. And when you can actually show them, hey, this other business just like yours, they face similar challenges and they crushed it using our product or service, man, that's powerful stuff.
It all comes back to that seeing is believing thing. We can read a case study and think, yeah, that's interesting. But seeing and hearing a real person sharing their experience, suddenly it's real. It's believable.
Okay, you've convinced me. Video case studies, they're the way to go. But let's talk logistics for a sec.
Yeah.
I mean, how long does it actually take to put one of these things together? Because Goated Guild, they're throwing around phrases like delivering content in weeks on their website.
That's a great question. And honestly, it impressive, especially these days when everyone wants everything yesterday. But I think there's got to be a balance, right? You need that speed, but you can't sacrifice quality or strategic thinking for it. I mean, rushing a case study, one that lacks focus or maybe doesn't really connect with your audience, that's probably not going to be as effective as something you take a little more time to develop, something more carefully crafted.
You get what you pay for, right? Rushing through the process, cutting corners, that could easily backfire, leaving you with a subpar product that doesn't really do anything for your business.
Exactly. And let's be real, that content in weeks thing, that's probably specific to Goated Guild's own internal process, which they've undoubtedly spent a lot of time optimizing and streamlining.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean that every single video case study out there can be churned out that quickly.
Right, that's where their expertise and experience come in, right? They've figured out how to make the process as efficient as possible without sacrificing quality, which, again, just adds to their value proposition, right?
Totally. They've taken something that can be really complex and time-consuming, making a high-impact video case study, and turned it into a much more manageable process, one with a clear timeline and, most importantly, measurable results.
So for our listeners out there, the ones who are hearing all of this and thinking, all right, I'm sold on the power of customer stories, but where do I even begin? What advice would you give them? Where do they start?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And the answer, in my opinion, is to start with another question. Ask yourself, what stories could my customers tell?
It really is. It's like instead of racking your brain trying to come up with the perfect marketing message, you just step back and let your customers do the talking for you.
Exactly. You're tapping into this gold mine of authentic experiences, the kind of stuff you just can't fake.
Because let's face it, no matter what your business is, you have those stories, right? Those moments where a customer achieved something amazing using your product or service, or overcame some major obstacle, or maybe even just had that aha moment where everything clicked, it's all valuable.
100%. Those stories, those are the good stuff. That's what's going to resonate with people. That's how you build trust and credibility. And ultimately, that's how you achieve real growth.
So instead of just telling the world how great you are, you let your customers do it for you. And that's way more powerful, right?
No question about it. And speaking of powerful, when it comes to video case studies, it's not just about making one long drawn-out video and calling it a day, right?
Yeah.
Goated Guild, they actually talk about creating content in a bunch of different formats to really maximize the reach and impact of those customer stories.
That makes a ton of sense. I mean, you got to think about how people consume content these days, right? Some people might stumble across your brand on social media. Others might be a targeted ad. Others might be browsing your website. There's no one-size-fits-all approach.
Exactly. So having those different formats, like maybe shorter snackable videos for social media, then some really eye-catching visuals for ads, or maybe you put together some concise written testimonials for your website. It's all about meeting your audience where they're at and delivering the right message at the right time. It's about having the right tools for the job. Exactly. And knowing how to use them effectively. 100%. You're taking those powerful customer stories you've uncovered, and then you're repurposing them, finding new ways to use them across different platforms and different stages of that buyer journey.
It's not just about creating content. It's about creating strategic content, content that's laser focused on achieving your business goals.
Exactly. It's about making sure every piece of content you put out there is working hard for you, driving those results you're after.
Love that. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of customer case studies, what's the one big takeaway you want to leave our listeners with today? Simple. Never underestimate the power of your customer stories. They're the most persuasive marketing and sales tool you have. Take the time to uncover those stories, shape them into compelling narratives, and then, yeah, get them out there for the world to see. Trust me, you might be amazed at the impact they can have.
Couldn't agree more. It's time to unleash the power of customer storytelling, folks. That's a wrap on this deep dive, everyone. As always, thanks for joining us, and keep those customer stories coming.